In today's video, I'm going to cover Keith Donellan's paper, Reference and Definite Descriptions. This paper was a response to Russell's theory of descriptions and Strawson's criticism against it. Donellan finds out that neither Russell nor Strawson was absolutely right. Each was partially true. Each of them focuses only one of the two different uses of definite descriptions. Although their views were opposed to each other, they had some false assumptions in common. Donellan pointed out two different uses of definite descriptions. One is the attributive use. Second one, the referential use. By attributive use, Donellan means that when a speaker uses a definite description attributively in an assertion, he says something, whoever or whatsoever satisfies the description. Repeating it again, a speaker who is using a definite description attributively in an assertion says something about whoever or whatsoever is the so and so. That means a speaker who uses a definite description in an assertion, he does not have any particular person in mind. He denotes an entity, whoever satisfies the description. And by referential use, Donellan intends to convey the idea that when a speaker uses a definite description referentially in an assertion, he enables his audience to pick out a particular individual he is talking about and states something about the thing or the person. So by referential use, Donellan conveys when a speaker uses a definite description referentially in an assertion, he enables his audience to pick out a particular individual whom he is talking about and speaks something about the individual person or the thing. Now let's take an example to exemplify two different uses of definite descriptions. Say for instance, Smith happens to be a very kind person. He happens to be a very kind person, and he was one of the resource person in a society. All of a sudden it is found that he has been murdered brutally. So the proposition, Smith's murderer is insane. So we will be dealing with that example. Smith's murderer is insane. This is a proposition, contains a definite description. Smith's murderer, the person who murdered Smith, is insane. This statement, the definite descriptive phrase, can be used in two different uses, can be used in two different ways. One is attributive, and it can also be applied in referential sense. So while it is used in attributive way, so in that case, Smith's murderer is insane. Here the speaker do not have any particular person in mind. He is basing his claim solely on the particularly brutal manner the person Smith has been murdered. So Smith's murderer is insane. When a person uses the definite description attributively, he bases his claim solely on the particularly brutal manner the Smith has been murdered. He does not have any particular person in mind while uttering that definite description. And whoever and whatsoever fits that definite description, I mean, whoever and whatsoever describes that entity uh, will fit the definite description. So this is about the attributive use of definite description. And what about referential use? Referential use, for example, let's talk about Jones. Jones has been found to be accused of Smith's murder. He has been charged with Smith's murder. Alright. And he has been put on trial, where his behavior is found distinctively odd, not like a sane person. So in that case, a speaker who is using the particular statement, Smith's murderer is insane, he has a particular person, Jones, named Jones, in mind. Okay, so he's using it referentially because he is having a particular person in mind. And in that case, Jones has been charged with Smith's murder case and he has been put on trial. And so the person he is uttering the statement has Jones in mind. Having stated the two different uses of definite descriptions, Donellan moves forward to criticize Russell and Strawson. According to Donellan, Russell's theory of descriptions applies at most to definite descriptions. Russell's theory of definite descriptions applies at most to attributive use, where Russell completely ignored the referential use of definite descriptions. He ignored it. And Russell's theory only accounts for attributive use. So Russell was partially right. His theory could not capture the two different uses of definite descriptions, so far as Donellan's observation is concerned. And against Strawson, Donellan's opinion is Strawson's theory accommodates referential use, but in Donellan's word, I quote, it goes too far in that direction. Okay. Because it fails to account for the referential use to occur successfully even though nothing satisfies the definite description. Having criticized Russell and Strawson, then Donellan went ahead to locate the common mistake of both Russell and Strawson. Russell and Strawson both agreed that when nothing satisfies definite description, the truth value of the statement is affected. For Russell, it is false, and for Strawson, the truth and falsity does not arise. If you remember, we have discussed Strawson has made a significant distinction between an expression, use of an expression, and utterance of an expression. When a statement like Smith's murderer is insane is uttered, without outside any context, it is neither true nor false. The question of truth and falsity simply does not arise. but this statement can have varieties of uses on various occasions. Uh, Nevertheless, on various occasions, the uses may one differ from it may vary from uses to uses. Okay, so if it is if the statement Strawson's murderer is insane, um, now, okay, if it is like when Smith was really murdered, then it may turns out to be true. And if it turns out to be the case that Smith has not been actually murdered, although um, the proposition Smith's murderer is insane is being uttered, then for Strawson it would be neither true nor false. The question of truth and falsity simply would not arise. So for both Russell and Strawson, if nothing satisfies the definite description, the truth value is affected. Donellan counters both Russell and Strawson's view. He says that both are wrong about the referential use. Why? Because in Donellan's opinion, a speaker may successfully refer to something or someone by means of a definite description, although the definite description fails to describe the person or the entity or the object. So the key idea is one may be succeeding in referring to something by using a definite description that does not successfully describe the thing one is referring to. So the one may successfully refer to something by using a definite description, although that does not correctly describe the thing one is referring to. This is the key idea of Donellan's paper. So now to illustrate this, we can use an example. Consider again the example. Smith's murderer is insane. If it turns out to be the case that Smith's murderer, Jones, is not at all guilty, or rather Smith has not been murdered at all, Smith is alive, in that case a speaker who is using the definite description Smith's murderer is insane the speaker may be successfully referring to the person Jones, although the definite description in discussion does not satisfy Jones. For example, if it happens to be the case that Jones is actually indeed an insane person, but he is not murderer of Smith, because Smith has not been murdered as a matter of fact. So the speaker who utters the statement containing the definite description Smith's murderer is insane may successfully refer to someone, here Jones, although the definite description does not describe the person the speaker is referring to. So this is the key idea of Donellan's paper, and Donellan claims both Russell and Strawson fail to spot that use of definite description, that referential use of definite description. For Russell, his theory at most applied to the attributive use of definite descriptions, while Strawson's paper was an attempt to capture referential use. Although it was inadequate, Strawson could not account for that sort of referential use where one may truly refer to something, although the description does not satisfy anything. So this is what the key idea of Donellan's paper. Having criticized Russell and Strawson, Donellan then proceeds to distinguish the two key ideas, denoting and referring. The nuances of denoting, nuances between denoting and referring is very crucial here. Donellan uses Russell's definition of denoting, and according to him, a definite description denotes an entity if that entity fits the description uniquely. So a definite description denotes an entity if the entity fits the definite description. This is Russellian account of explaining definite descriptions, and Donellan admitted the description. Explanation of denotation. Okay. So now, like Strawson, he also thinks that referring is a kind of relation between the speaker and the thing or the person he is talking about. So referring is different from denoting. In the case of denoting, an expression denotes an entity if the entity fits the description. And in the case of referring is a relation between the speaker and the thing or the person he means to be talking about. So it's very easy to see now that why Donellan claims that an expression denotes and person refers. Expression denotes, people refers. Expression denote and people refers. Why expression denote? Because it says an expression denotes in the sense when an entity fits the description. Denotation does not presuppose the entity which is being designated by the definite description. Contrarily, in referential use, always the speaker have in mind the entity he is talking about by means of the definite descriptions. So although a person cannot refer to something without being aware of the entity he is talking about, so when a person uses a definite description referentially, it cannot be possible for him to be not aware of the entity he is referring to. He is always aware of the thing he is referring to in the sentence containing definite description. But in the case of denotation, expression which denotes something, here one may not be aware of the thing he is denoting. As I mentioned, a definite description denotes an entity if that entity satisfies the description. It's like a placeholder, whoever or whatever satisfies the description is the denotation of the definite description. And the reference is a person, the speaker must have something in mind while uttering that definite description. So expression denotes, people refers. This is the key idea of Keith Donellan's paper, reference and definite descriptions. Let me wrap up here. I shall come up with another significant topic ranging from different philosophical theories.